Podcast, where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting new ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to roll-wide facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The Bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for the latest in dairy innovation, science, and business strategy. I'm your host, and today we're diving into the next frontier, technological and genetic innovations reshaping dairy cattle breeding from 2025 to 2030. In this special episode, we're unpacking insights powered by Notebook LM's audio toolkit, so you'll get straight talk on cutting-edge advances like CRISPR gene editing, AI-driven herd management, genomic selection, and the real economic payback these game changers are offering progressive dairy producers worldwide. If you're ready to leave outdated myths behind and build a future-proof, profitable dairy business, this episode's for you. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive, the show that digs deep into the topics that matter to dairy producers.
That's right. Today we're diving into a really insightful feature article from the Bullvine that's sparking a lot of conversations across the industry.
Yeah, I've heard some buzz about this one.
It lays out a pretty fascinating roadmap for the future of dairy. Our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack the genetic and technological breakthroughs on the horizon.
So one's coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Like between 2025 and 2030.
Exactly. And show you how these aren't just, exciting lab experiments or some theoretical ideas.
Right, not just something scientists are dreaming up.
No, these are very real, tangible profit opportunities for your dairy operation. We're talking about direct impacts on your bottom line.
Like what specifically?
Like significantly lower feed bills, reduced labor costs, and even opening up access to entirely new premium milk markets.
Okay, premium markets, that definitely gets your attention.
It's a vision for how to not just survive, but actually thrive in the evolving dairy landscape we're seeing.
Okay, let's unpack this vision then, because the article immediately hits us with something, pretty groundbreaking. This idea of designer milk through advanced gene editing and selection.
Right, designer milk.
And this is something they expect to really emerge between 2025 and 2027. So not that far off.
No, relatively soon. And the article, it draws this really compelling parallel to the organic milk revolution.
Yeah, I saw that. Thinking back, organic seemed, almost impossible to some people just a few decades ago.
Totally. A real niche thing. And now
it's everywhere, a staple.
Exactly. So the core idea here is using CRISPR technology.
Which is like molecular scissors.
That's the common analogy, yeah. To basically snip and modify DNA with incredible precision.
Okay.
And this lets us create milk with very specific desired properties right at the genetic level of the cow.
Wow. Okay, specific properties like what?
Well, when I first read about this, what really jumped out at me wasn't just the science itself, which is amazing.
It is pretty cool tech.
But the why it matters part. The practical implications for a dairy farm.
Right. What does it mean for the producer listening?
Imagine being able to, say, eliminate beta-lactoglobulin.
Okay, the protein that causes allergies for some people?
Exactly that one. Just that single change could open up a whole new segment of consumers who currently can't drink regular milk.
That would immediately expand your market potential, wouldn't it?
Huge potential. But it goes beyond just allergies. The article also highlights selecting for cows that produce way higher casein content.
Higher casein. How much higher are we talking?
Well, the projections are pretty significant. They're talking increases between 17% and, get this, up to 35%.
35%.
Yeah, astounding rate.
For anyone in cheese or even just thinking about component pricing, that's massive.
Absolutely. High casein means more cheese, better cheese yield, more product from the same volume of milk.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there. There are potential human health benefits, too.
Like
things like reduced GI symptoms for some consumers, maybe better bone health, even benefits for blood pressure.
Interesting.
So all these factors combine to create, and this is crucial, brand new high-value revenue streams for dairy producers.
You've really hit on a key point there, because when you combine that science with the financial side, the article's projections, it gets incredibly compelling. It doesn't shy away from projecting access to premium markets.
Right. And paying what?
Paying anywhere from 15% to 25% above current commodity prices for this kind of specialized milk.
Wow. 15 to 25% premium.
And it's not just a maybe someday thing. They're talking about processors potentially offering significant component bonuses specifically for high casein.
Like an amplified version of what we sometimes see now.
Exactly. And like you said, it opens up whole new customer groups that were, well, off limits before.
Turning a challenge into a real opportunity.
Yeah. And the article gets bold with numbers. It projects an extra $3,000 to $5,000 in revenue.
Per cow.
Per cow annually, just from these specialty markets.
3 to 5 grand extra per cow per year. That's not just a nice bonus.
No way. That's transformational for a farm's profitability.
That figure really makes you pause, doesn't it? And it raises a really important point for discussion.
Which is?
Well, obviously, regulatory approval is key, right? That's a necessary step.
Of course. Can't sell it if it's not approved.
But the article really emphasizes that forward-thinking producers, they should already be positioning their herds.
Okay, but hold on. For a farmer listening, hearing about designer milk coming in, say, 2026, that might still sound a bit like science fiction.
I get that.
How practical is it really to start positioning your herd today for markets that aren't even fully formed yet?
That's a totally fair question, and it really speaks to the long game of genetics, doesn't it? Genetics is always about looking ahead.
True.
And the article kind of implies it's less about buying some fancy new tech right now and more about making smarter breeding decisions today.
Okay, so using the tools we already have, but maybe differently.
Exactly. Like you can start identifying and selecting for the genetic markers for high casein or, say, A2 protein in your current herd.
So leveraging what's already there.
Right. It's not waiting for some magic bullet. It's about building that genetic foundation now, using existing genomic testing on your heifers.
Screening them specifically for these traits.
Yeah. Prioritizing those heifers for breeding, actively choosing semen from bulls known for these qualities.
And maybe talking to your suppliers, your processor.
Definitely. Engaging with your genetic suppliers, your milk processor, understanding their long-term plans, their interest in this stuff.
So you're building the genetic side and the market side, kind of, simultaneously.
That's the idea. So when the green light eventually comes, you're not scrambling. You're ready to capture that premium from day one.
So it's less about a huge cash outlay right now and more a shift in, like, breeding philosophy, using data better.
I think that's a big part of it. Of course, there are costs, but it's strategic. Are there maybe some lower cost first steps a farmer could take? Sort of dip their toe in?
Yeah, before going all in.
Absolutely. The article implies that maybe the first and often most impactful step for its cost,
Compared to robots, say.
right, is robust genomic testing of your replacement heifers.
Okay, the testing itself.
It's an investment, sure, but the data you get is incredible for making those informed culling and breeding choices.
It helps you ask, what genetics do I already have that fit this future picture?
Exactly. So you start shaping the herd strategically, not reactively. You optimize where you put your feed and labor dollars.
By only raising the heifers with the best shot at these new markets.
You got it. It's really a foundational step.
That makes a lot of sense. And, you know, it leads us right into the next big theme, because we're talking genetics. It's not just about what the milk is made of. It's also about the health of the animal making it. That's just as vital. Right.
Couldn't agree more. Sick cows don't pay the bills. Every farmer knows that instinctively.
They cost money, treatment, lost milk, extra work.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah. So the article moves smoothly into breeding healthier animals through smart genetics, also looking at that 2025-2028 timeframe.
And what it shows is how genomic selection is getting incredibly precise now at predicting animal health.
It's not just a vague health trait anymore.
No, it's super targeted, letting farmers proactively manage their herd's well-being in ways they couldn't before.
And that precision is what makes the numbers really stand out. Which brings up the question, what does scary good, as the article puts it, actually mean in dollars and cents for farmers?
Yeah, what are the tangible savings? Because that's the bottom line.
Well, the article gives some really powerful examples. Take mastitis. Each case you avoid saves about $444.
$444. And that's not just the drug cost, is it?
No way. It's lost milk, the labor treating her, maybe discarded milk, the stress on the cow, the stress on the team.
It all adds up fast. Preventing even a few cases makes a difference.
Huge difference. And then lameness, another major headache. Preventing that stops those brutal 20% drops in milk production.
Which can absolutely cripple your income from that cow.
Right. And some farms using these genomic tools, they're already seeing things like 300% better mastitis resistance.
300%. That's not just tweaking things.
No, that's transformative herd health management.
And we're seeing this play out on real farms, right? It's not just theory.
Absolutely. The article mentions Dave Camel in Wisconsin. He uses robotic milking systems.
Okay. And what's his experience?
He reports saving 3 hours of labor every single day.
3 hours a day.
Yeah. And at the same time, his cows are healthier because the robots offer more frequent, gentler milking, plus that constant monitoring.
For any farmer listening, 3 hours that's huge. That's quality of life, not just business.
It really is. Time with family, maybe catching up on sleep, tackling that endless repair list.
Yeah, we all have one of those.
And it's not just individual benefits. Look at the Casey family farm in Ireland.
What did they achieve?
They cut their overall labor needs by 25% by integrating robotic systems.
25%. Again, huge, especially with labor being such a challenge everywhere.
Exactly. It's not just making cows feel better. It's reducing labor demand, improving efficiency, boosting the whole operation's profitability.
That shift from like reactive treatment to proactive prevention using genetics and tech. It's really powerful.
It is, which leads to a really important discussion point.
Okay.
How does integrating genetics specifically for health impact the entire farm operation beyond just that one sick cow? Thinking bigger picture, efficiency, even morale.
That's a great question. It feels like a domino effect, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, healthier cows mean way less vet expense, right? Fewer drug costs, less staff time spent treating sick animals.
Makes sense.
And crucially, fewer animals leaving the herd too early. That hits your replacement costs hard.
Improves herd longevity? Cows stay productive longer.
Exactly. Which also boosts the overall genetic value of your herd over time because you're keeping and breeding from your most resilient animals.
And the workforce is more efficient too, right? Not constantly putting out fires.
Yeah. It's shifting from reactive to proactive preventative healthcare, basically built into your breeding program. Makes for a much more stable and profitable environment.
Totally agree. Healthier herd, more consistent production, better milk quality, maybe even less stress on the farm team dealing with sick cows. It's a win all around.
Creates a much more positive vibe for sure.
Okay, so speaking of robots and efficiency and the brains behind them.
The AI part.
Let's talk about AI that actually thinks like a dairy cattle breeder, also in that 2025, 2028 window.
This isn't just sci-fi anymore, is it? It's about smart systems really taking a central role.
Definitely not sci-fi. The core idea is that today's AI can process just a staggering amount of data, over 200 genetic markers, for example.
While also monitoring cows 204/7.
Yeah, through sensors, collars, parlors, maybe even feed bunks. And it's not just collecting data.
It's analyzing it.
Learning.
Exactly. Robotic milking systems are evolving. They learn individual cow preferences. They optimize feeding, adjust milking routines in real time, making decisions way too complex for a human to manage across the whole herd.
Precisely. It's really a complete operational optimization tool.
You know, when I read about these AI capabilities, what really struck me wasn't just the automated milking, but how the article frames it as a complete management overhaul, how deeply it could change daily farm life.
Yeah, it goes way beyond just milking. And the tangible benefits listed are pretty eye-opening.
Look at the labor savings.
Up to a 70% reduction in milking labor costs. 70%.
Given the labor shortages, that alone is monumental.
Absolutely. And beyond that, a minimum 15% boost in milk yields.
Why higher yields?
Because cows can be milked more often at times that are optimal for them. Less stress, maximizing their natural production.
Makes sense.
And maybe one of the biggest savers, disease detection up to a full week before symptoms are visible to us.
A full week early. That's incredible. Almost like a crystal ball for herd health.
Pretty much. And the data backs it up. There was a UK study mentioned. It showed AI catching mastitis early enough to save 1,500 euros per case saved.
1,500 euros per case saved.
Just by intervening before it becomes a full-blown infection, You save on treatments, lost milk, potential udder damage, antibiotic use.
That's the kind of tech that genuinely pays for itself pretty quickly, isn't it? By stopping small problems from becoming huge ones.
Exactly. The numbers are really compelling. Which brings us to another key discussion point.
Okay.
When you combine these three areas, the designer milk potential, the healthier animals via genetics, and this smart AI optimizing everything.
It paints a picture of a radically different dairy farm, and really soon.
Right. So the question becomes, what's the biggest barrier to adoption for the average producer listening right now?
Good question. Is it the upfront cost? The capital investment?
Or maybe the learning curve? These systems sound sophisticated.
Or is it just the mindset shift? Moving from, traditional ways to this tech-heavy, data-driven approach?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? My gut feeling. It's probably a mix of all three for many producers.
The cost of things like robotics can definitely be daunting, especially for smaller farms or those on tight margins.
For sure. But the article keeps hammering that long-term ROI. These are investments, not just expenses. That's the key perspective shift.
True. And the learning curve is real, too. Integrating new tech takes training, changing routines.
Although most tech companies now offer pretty good support and training, don't they?
Usually, yeah. But maybe the biggest hurdle, the most subtle one, is that mindset piece.
Trusting the algorithm as much as your gut?
Kind of. Farmers are practical, right? Relying on generations of knowledge, hands-on experience, moving to rely so heavily on data, on automated systems. That's a different way of thinking about managing your farm.
I agree. That mindset shift is huge, moving from reacting to problems to proactively anticipating and preventing them with data.
For farmers already stretched thin on labor, looking for efficiency, for profit.
The promise of these technologies, especially the labor savings, might be the ultimate nudge they need.
Could be. That 70% figure is hard to ignore. The economic benefits, plus maybe a better quality of life. Those are powerful drivers.
Very powerful incentives indeed.
Okay, so that leads us to the next logical question then. How do we take these immediate insights, these near-term technologies, and leverage them for the next generation, for the future of the herd?
Right, and that's where the article introduces what feels like a real paradigm shift for how we manage heifers.
Which is?
Know your calf's future at birth. A medium-term game changer, they're saying, expected around 2026 to 2028.
Know its future at birth. How?
Through genomic testing on newborn calves, the core idea is this testing offers incredible reliability on their lifetime breeding values, like 65% to 80% reliable.
65 to 80% compared to what we get now just from looking at the parents.
Which is only about 20-25% reliable. So it's a massive leap in accuracy.
A much clearer crystal ball into her future potential right from day one.
Exactly. And that increased reliability is the game changer. It allows for truly strategic early decision making.
Okay, so what's the financial angle here? What does better reliability actually mean for the bottom line?
Fundamentally, it's about making smarter, earlier choices about your herd's future. The Council on Dairy Cattle Breeding, they track, 49 different traits?
Yeah, and they estimate lifetime profit using the net merit index.
Right, the net merit index, which, for listeners, basically boils down all that genetic potential, production, health, fertility into a single dollar value for profitability. Super useful tool.
And the article gives a concrete example, doesn't it?
It does. A calf with a $300 breeding value on that index, she'll make you $450 more over her lifetime compared to one with a negative $150 value.
$450 difference per animal. That's not abstract. That's real money you're either making or losing based on who you keep.
Precisely. And the math, as the article says, is pretty simple but powerful.
Which is?
Stop feeding $1,400 to $2,000 worth of feed.
The cost to raise a heifer.
To animals that will never pay it back over their productive life.
That's money straight out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Wasted resources on animals that end up being liabilities.
Exactly. So the strategy becomes crystal clear. Test early, cull smart. Invest your precious resources, feed, housing, labor in the winners.
The heifers with the high genetic merit, poised to be profitable cows for years.
You got it. Focus your efforts where they'll actually yield the greatest return.
And that really flips the script, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From just kind of hoping for the best with your heifers.
Right.
To actively planning for profitability right from day one. So what does this mean for traditional heifer raising strategies? Because this sounds like a complete overhaul for a lot of farms.
It's a pretty significant transformation, yeah. Instead of just raising every heifer calf, or maybe keeping the ones whose parents looked good on paper.
Right, the old way.
You can now make highly informed decisions much, much earlier, like at birth.
And the impact of that is?
Much more efficient use of resources across the whole farm. You can likely reduce the number of heifers you need to raise.
Which immediately cuts feed costs, housing costs, frees up labor.
Dramatically. And it also means you accelerate genetic progress in your herd way faster.
Because you're only keeping and breeding the best of the best, ensuring each generation is truly better.
Exactly. It's not just about culling the bottom end, it's about optimizing your entire replacement strategy for maximum efficiency and profit.
Sounds like a really powerful way to shape your herd's future.
Definitely. And speaking of shaping the future and tackling long-standing challenges...
Uh-oh, what's next?
Finally fixing fertility issues. Expected around 2027-2030. Now, that is a bold claim.
Yeah, finally fixing fertility. That's been a tough nut to crack for dairy genetics for decades.
It really has. Partly due to low heritability, it's just not strongly cast down, and partly due to, well, a lack of really robust data sometimes.
So what's changing? How are we finally fixing it?
The core idea now is combining advanced reproductive tech things like better AI protocols, maybe hormonal therapies,
Okay.
with that increasingly precise genomic selection we've been talking about. Putting those two together is starting to make a real difference.
And what's fascinating here again is how even seemingly small improvements in fertility numbers can translate into huge savings.
The financial impact is pretty profound. The article points out that just a 5-day improvement in the average calving interval
It's 5 days shorter.
saves a 1,000 cow dairy about $17,500 a year.
17.5 grand just for 5 days. Wow.
Think about the cumulative effect. And then if you can boost your 21-day pregnancy rate, say, from a typical 12% up to a much healthier 33%.
Which is achievable with focus.
You can slash calving intervals by a massive 63 days.
63 days. That's over 2 months.
And remember, each new pregnancy itself is valued somewhere between $100 and $500, depending on milk prices, heifer values, your farm costs.
When you multiply that across a whole herd over a year,
Yeah.
those dollars add up incredibly fast. It's a huge lever for profit.
Absolutely. So this clearly isn't just about, getting cows pregnant eventually.
No, it's optimizing the whole reproductive cycle, isn't it? And thinking about its massive impact on herd efficiency and farm income.
For sure. How does this connect back to, say, labor savings or even overall herd health, beyond just the direct fertility numbers?
Well, it seems deeply connected. Better fertility means fewer days open per cow, right?
Right.
Which means a more consistent lactation curve, more predictable milk flow across the herd. That simplifies management and planning.
Okay, makes sense.
And critically, it cuts down the time and effort spent just on breeding management. Fewer rebreedings, fewer vet checks for problem cows, less time maybe on heat detection.
Which can be a huge labor drain.
Exactly, so direct labor savings there. Plus, cows that get pregnant efficiently and predictably, they tend to be healthier overall, don't they?
Less stress on their system from repeated breeding attempts or being open too long.
Yeah. It likely impacts their longevity, their well-being. It feels like a holistic improvement that just ripples through the whole farm's efficiency and financial health.
A really virtuous cycle.
Now let's tackle the big one.
Yeah.
The single largest variable expense on pretty much every dairy farm.
Gotta be feed costs. The article promises feed efficiency that actually matters, looking out to 2027, 2030.
And feed usually eats up, what, 50-60% of the milking herd's variable expenses?
Easily. So even small improvements here can be absolutely transformational for a dairy's bottom line.
So the core idea is, through advanced genetic selection specifically for feed conversion efficiency, even a modest bump makes a huge difference.
That's the promise. Significant savings.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, feed efficiency isn't just about saving money on your inputs, right?
No, it ties directly into those environmental goals too. It actually lets you turn environmental stewardship into a profit center.
Okay, how? Let's talk numbers. What kind of savings are we looking at?
The article projects some really substantial figures. It estimates that just a 5% to 15% improvement in feed conversion efficiency
Which sounds modest, maybe achievable.
could lead to $87,500 to nearly $400,000 in annual savings for a 1,000 cow operation.
Whoa. 87 grand, almost 400 grand back in your pocket. Just from getting more milk out of less feed. Making your operation leaner, more resilient.
That's a staggering amount.
And here's where that environmental link gets really powerful and potentially opens up new revenue streams too.
Okay.
New feed additives are coming out. The article mentions one from Ruminate showing, get this, 95.2% methane reductions.
95% reduction in methane without hurting milk production.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
That's a massive win-win. Good for profits, good for the planet, addresses those consumer and regulatory pressures head on.
Huge.
And we're seeing examples like those Massachusetts dairy farms using anaerobic digesters.
Turning manure into energy.
Yeah, offsetting millions of pounds of CO2 annually, powering homes. And in Europe, some farms are earning 12,000 euros a year in carbon credit subsidies.
12,000 euros annually just for reducing their footprint.
Just by doing things that often make them more efficient anyway. It shows environmental stewardship is shifting from being just a cost to a real financial opportunity.
That creates this really powerful synergy, doesn't it? Economic efficiency and environmental responsibility, hand in hand.
Definitely. Which leads to a critical discussion point.
Are farmers ready?
Yeah. Are farmers ready to view net zero not just as a burden or a PR exercise, but as a genuine profit opportunity? The article seems to argue they have to be.
I think the article doesn't just say they should be ready. It builds a strong case for why they will be ready. It's driven by these real financial incentives.
The old view of green initiatives as just an added cost, that's fading fast.
It has to. When you can cut your single biggest expense feed by making cows more efficient and potentially qualify for carbon credits or processor premiums at the same time,
The whole calculation changes.
completely. It's recognizing that what's good for the planet can directly boost your bottom line. Lower input costs, new revenue from carbon markets, maybe premiums from buyers who value sustainability.
It's a fundamental shift in perspective that smart farmers are already making, or definitely need to start thinking about seriously.
It really is about seeing sustainability as a competitive advantage, not just a chore.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the science, the potential. It's exciting stuff. But how do you translate all this from, science to sales pitch?
Making it real for the farmer on the ground.
Exactly. The article brings in Juan Moreno from ST Genetics, who seems to have really cracked this code.
Yeah, his approach is interesting. His core idea: focus purely on the dollars and cents, tangible benefits, measurable ROI.
Not getting lost in the complex genomics or the abstract markers.
Right. Speak the farmer's language. And he gives some great, clear examples.
Like what?
Like how a simple $30 genomic test can save a farmer $1,400.
$1,400.
Just by helping them avoid raising the wrong heifer, that unproductive one that will never earn back her feed and labor costs. It's about preventing a future loss, framed very simply.
Okay, that's clear.
And his eco-feed technology example, he says it saves 10% on feed costs, but then immediately connects it.
Yeah.
Feed is 55% of your animal operating expenses.
So he frames it in terms that instantly hit home on the balance sheet. It's not just a percentage. It's about your costs.
Exactly. It resonates.
And what's also fascinating about his approach, beyond just the numbers, is his emphasis on customized solutions.
Yeah.
He gets that it's not one size fits all.
Right. A grass-based farm in New Zealand is totally different from a big confinement operation in Wisconsin.
Different climate, different grazing, different markets, different priorities, different economics.
Exactly. So technology adoption has to be tailored. It needs to fit the specific needs, the infrastructure, the long-term goals of that individual farm.
Which highlights a really crucial point for every farmer listening, doesn't it?
What's that?
The importance of truly understanding your own farm's unique context before jumping on any new technology bandwagon.
Absolutely critical. How does a farmer actually do that? Assess their own operation to make the right choices for them?
Well, it's not about just grabbing the shiniest new toy. It's about strategic integration. You got to start by really assessing your current challenges.
Like, what's your biggest pain point right now? Labor, feed costs, market access.
Exactly. Then look realistically at your existing setup. Can your barns, your parlor, your land actually support a new system? Or does it need a huge extra investment?
Good point. Infrastructure matters.
And, maybe most importantly, what are your long-term goals? Are you shooting for max volume, premium quality, being a sustainability leader, or just simplifying operations?
Defining those goals clearly.
Yeah. Once you define those things, you can filter through all the emerging tech and pinpoint what genuinely fits your operation and offers the best potential ROI for you. It's about being purposeful with innovation.
That makes a lot of sense. Be strategic, not just reactive.
And building on that idea, turning challenges into opportunities, the article talks about making net zero actually make sense.
Right. Encouraging that mindset shift again. Seeing environmental goals not as cost, but as potential profit centers.
Because the core idea is those environmental benefits, like better feed conversion.
Which we just talked about.
They don't just lower your carbon footprint. They cut methane, and they cut your biggest expense feed.
It's a direct link.
Same with water conservation. Looks good to regulators, looks good to consumers, and it can also slash your water bills by up to 30%.
It's a true dual benefit. Good stewardship directly hitting the bottom line.
But this raises a practical question again. What tangible support or incentives are actually out there for farmers who want to pursue these goals? The long-term benefits are clear, but upfront costs can be tough, especially for smaller farms.
That's fair. And the good news is the article points to some significant opportunities. The USDA, for example, they're allocating a massive $7.7 billion for climate-smart practices.
$7.7 billion. That's a huge pot of money.
It is. Designed specifically to help farmers adopt sustainable methods, make these transitions more affordable, and beyond government programs.
What else?
We're seeing this growing trend where processors are actually starting to pay premiums for verified farm sustainability data.
So if you can prove lower emissions, better water use, maybe reduced antibiotic use, your milk could actually fetch a higher price.
That's the emerging reality. As the article puts it, smart farmers are figuring out how to get paid for doing what they should probably be doing anyway, making their operations more efficient and environmentally sound.
It's about aligning those economic incentives with ecological responsibility.
Exactly. Strategic alignment. Doing good for the planet can genuinely be good for the pocketbook. It's moving beyond just compliance to finding real competitive advantage.
Okay, it's one thing to talk about potential, the projections.
But does it work in the real world?
Exactly. The article gives us real-world results you can actually believe. These aren't just hypotheticals. They're happening now on farms.
Like the Korean robotic success story?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Dairy farms in Korea using robotic systems saw, on average, 2.44 to 2.88 kilos more milk per cow per day.
More milk, okay. Anything else?
On top of that, they produced 0.10 to 0.11 more calves per cow annually.
More calves, too.
And, as we discussed, huge labor savings. Especially crucial for smaller family operations where every hour counts towards quality of life and just staying viable.
That really demonstrates measurable commercial results, doesn't it? More milk is great, but more calves, too. That ripples through herd expansion, sales, overall viability.
Absolutely. And then there's the Welsh genomic testing win. Equally compelling.
What happened in Wales?
Farmers there genomically tested their heifers and found that a staggering 23%.
Nearly quarter.
Would have been kept using the old ways, visual checks, parent records, but should have been culled based on their low genetic potential revealed by the test.
Wow. Imagine the feed, labor, time wasted on raising those unproductive animals.
Exactly. The study calculated the net benefit, even after paying for the test, was £19.39 per heifer.
Almost 20 quid per head.
And that compounds fast, right? Across the whole herd over multiple generations. It's clear proof that smart culling saves real money and speeds up genetic progress.
These examples are really powerful. They show this isn't just future gazing.
Not at all. So what do these case studies tell us about the pace of adoption? What might push other farmers to make these kinds of big shifts?
Well, they tell us pretty unequivocally, this stuff isn't some distant dream. It's happening now for those willing to embrace change. The benefits are measurable, tangible, significant.
Providing strong incentives for others to follow.
Exactly. These aren't just isolated cases, they're blueprints for success. They show that early adopters really do gain a significant competitive edge efficiency, profit, sustainability.
So what prompts the shift? Is it just profit?
I think it's more than just the promise of profit. It's the demonstrable proof that these systems work, that they pay for themselves, and that they can fundamentally change a farm's future for the better.
Seeing your peers succeed makes you realize standing still isn't really an option anymore.
Exactly. Not in such a rapidly evolving industry.
That's a fantastic summary of all the insights we've pulled from the article. So after all that, what's the absolute key takeaway for a farmer listening right now?
Well, the article does a great job boiling it down. It gives some excellent key takeaways and even lays out an implementation roadmap, which I think really brings it all together nicely.
Okay, let's hit those key takeaways. What's number one?
Number one, and maybe the most fundamental shift needed, is to challenge the volume over value orthodoxy.
Okay, stop chasing just pounds or liters.
For too long, the focus has been purely on volume, but the article makes it clear. Precision genetics for milk composition.
Like A2 markets, or boosting that casein by 17-35%.
Can deliver an incredible $3,000 to $5,000 extra annual revenue per cow.
That proves it, right? Composition can now drive profit even more than sheer volume, maximize the value of every drop.
Exactly. Okay, takeaway number 2 directly hits that labor crisis we keep mentioning. Implement AI-powered precision to cut labor by 70%.
70%, that's massive. Robotic systems with predictive analytics
Can slash those milking labor costs huge when labor is scarce and pricey. And at the same time,
they boost milk yields by at least 15%. That's 22 to 25 liters daily per cow because of better milking frequency and less stress.
plus that early mastitis detection saves potentially €1,500 per case. It tackles labor and boosts health and efficiency. Win-win-win.
Okay, number 3 focuses on smarter resource use. Leverage genomic testing for strategic culling decisions.
Right. That early life test gives you 65-70% reliability on breeding value, way up from the old 20-25% from parent averages.
Which means you spot those low-potential animals before sinking $1,400 to $2,000 in feed costs to raise them.
Exactly. The math is clear. A $300 net merit calf makes $450 more lifetime profit than a negative $150 one. It's about smart resource allocation, maximizing ROI on every animal.
Makes perfect sense. What's the 4th takeaway?
This one targets your biggest expense. Optimize total farm feed efficiency for maximum cost savings.
Feed, 50-60% of variable costs.
So genetic selection for feed conversion efficiency, even modest 5-15% improvements.
Can deliver that stunning $87,500 to $393,750 in annual savings for a 1,000 cow herd.
And importantly, it opens the door to carbon credit revenue streams, maybe $12,000 a year, through methane reduction. Powerful double win. Wallet and planet.
Great point. And the final takeaway.
A crucial call to action. Adopt global success models over traditional approaches.
Learn from those who are already doing it successfully elsewhere.
Precisely. Look at New Zealand, getting years ahead in genetic progress with female genomic selection and sexed semen. Look at Korea, boosting daily production by kilos and getting more calves per cow with robotics.
These aren't theories. They're real-world examples proving these integrated systems deliver measurable results that transform farm economics.
Yeah.
Blueprints for success.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic summary of the core insights. And for anyone listening now thinking, okay, that's a lot, where do I even start?
Yeah, how do you actually implement this?
The article provides a clear implementation roadmap, breaking it down into manageable phases, which is really helpful.
Okay, walk us through it. What's the first phase?
First is the start now phase, basically 2025-2026. Step 1, no excuses. Begin genomic testing on your replacement heifers. Get that data flowing.
Foundational. What else?
Step 2, make sure you explicitly include health trait selection in your breeding program. Don't just focus on production.
Right. Breed for resilience.
And third, start using basic sensors. Monitor cow and heifer performance, behavior, health. Even simple sensors give you crucial data to make better decisions. These are relatively low-cost, high-impact starting points.
Okay, that sounds achievable. What's the next phase?
The next phase runs from 2026-2028. This is where you seriously consider installing robotic systems, if the numbers, the labor savings, pencil out for your specific operation.
Not a must-do for everyone, but evaluate it seriously.
Exactly. Also in this phase, start incorporating feed conversion efficiency genetics into your selection criteria.
Building on the feed savings potential.
Crucially, really advance your reproductive performance and management by using that genomic data you started collecting. Don't just collect it, apply it.
Okay, deeper integration, optimizing core areas. Makes sense. And the long term.
The long-term play, looking out to 2028-2030. The goal here is implementing full precision farming integration across the entire operation.
Connecting all the pieces, AI, data, genetics, working together seamlessly.
That's the vision. Also, actively enroll in carbon credit programs, get those environmental benefits verified and monetized, turn sustainability into cash flow.
Right, capitalizing on those opportunities.
And finally, by this stage, you should be positioned to benefit from premium product marketing based on your designer milk, your genetic improvements, your sustainable practices. Solidify those high-value revenue streams. Future-proof the business.
Wow. That roadmap really lays it out. The bottom line from the article feels pretty powerful, doesn't it?
It really does. This transformation, it won't be easy, let's be real. But the early adopters, they stand to gain massive advantages.
It's not about just being the most high-tech farm around.
No, it's about being the most profitable. These innovations are direct paths to better margins, smoother operations, and building farms that will actually thrive for the next generation.
So the question really isn't if these changes are coming.
They're already here, knocking at the door. The real question is, will you lead the charge? Or will you spend the next decade trying to play catch-up?
Or worse, potentially having to exit the industry because you couldn't adapt.
It's a stark choice. Smart money, as the article implies, says it's time to start planning your move now.
Great points. And that's probably all the time we have for today's deep dive.
It flew by. Lots to think about there.
Definitely. For more articles and insights like the one we discussed today, be sure to visit www.thebullvine.com.
And don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for listening.
That wraps up another episode of the Bullvine Podcast, where we break down the latest research and tech so you can make the best decisions for your dairy operation. Thanks for listening. If you found value in today's show, share it with a fellow dairy innovator, subscribe for more evidence-based insights, and visit us at thebullvine.com for articles, webinars, and tools built specifically for forward-thinking producers like you. Until next time, remember, don't chase trends, create them. Stay curious, stay profitable, and keep leading the herd forward.